Welcome to the podcast of the Coaches Next Door.
This is a podcast for self-coaching, for getting more insights about yourself, others, and the world in mind, body, emotions, behavior, patterns, and results.
Welcome to the podcast, The Coaches Next Door. And this podcast, if you follow this podcast, you already saw and heard that the podcast is really eclectic in terms of topics and subjects, because I think that it's just like life, we have a lot of things going on in our lives, and that means that coaching can go for each one of these parts of our life. So the topic for today is a very particular topic, but I think, at least for me, is highly relevant at this moment, and will be more even in the future. And the topic for today is neurodiversity. And yes, the first question is, of course, what is neurodiversity? And if that is really a thing, if we have in any way a brain or a neural system that is not different. Well, yes, we can say that some things that we can expect that the brain does. We have certain patterns also in the way that the brain connects with the different hemispheres, the different parts of our brain, but also what each brain can do. So we have people that have this difference in what we can establish as a pattern. The thing is, some studies are showing that not in a long term, 40% of our population will be neurodiverse. Big speculation is that, do we need to change the map for what is not a neurodiverse brain? Maybe in the future, we need to go back to define what is normal pattern for the brain and how that brain works. But for now, we can establish already some processes that are not inside of this norm. So the thing is, at this moment, we have a lot of people talking about the most common stuff: autism, ADHD. So a lot of things, that anxiety, and we are getting a lot of self-diagnosis. That's true. A lot of people, they go around listening to some podcasts, and also some people saying, okay, what is, autism? How can you detect if someone is autist? And what I see is a lot of this being done upon the behavior. So what people do. And I will say that that is a high risk, because the behavior can be established but a lot of different things, by the context, by of course, our own way of our own brain working, but is a lot of ways that will make us to behave in a certain way. So the behavior comes across as a strategy. And when we are looking for a neurodiversity and neurodiverse person, I will always recommend a professional diagnosis. if you see yourself, okay, maybe I fit in this and that, go and do the tests. Go and check it. Why? Because yes, most part of the times people that got the diagnosis, they say, okay, now I know what it is. I don't find myself anymore being a stranger to my neurodiversity. Or now I don't find myself just weird. Or then I can also explain or at least show to other people why I'm doing what I'm doing. Of course, I also say do the tests, get the diagnosis, and open the door of the surprise. The door that I don't know if this is the only thing that I can do, or this is this is the only thing that I am. So don't stay only in the diagnosis like, oh, this is me because I don't know, I'm dyslexic, or oh, this is me because I'm just in the spectrum of autism. Get yourself the possibility of opening the door of surprise. And then, of course, we have adults, and a lot of adults are not diagnosed for many different reasons. But then we have also the children. And me being a mother of a child in the spectrum of autism, I can tell you that the door of surprise is the best door to have. Not only because it's still developing, so a lot of things can happen, but also because I want him to have a space that he can find his own way. And his own way is not written in any book, or his own way is not the example of someone else. It's his own way, like any other person, right? But of course, when we are dealing with someone that is neurodiverse, then we need to amplify this, just like they amplify certain things. And myself, being myself dyslexic, I can tell you that I went through my life without no one knowing it. So the first person that knew that I was dyslexic was my husband. And he said to me one time, why you hide it? Yeah, because why I need to tell? First, because, of course, with my age, was not a thing before. But also, when I found my strategies to deal with my dyslexia, I was okay with that. I knew, okay, this is something that I probably will not be able to do as other people do. So I'm okay with that. I can find other strategies. And sometimes people like, oh, that is strange. But the first person to know that I was dyslexic was my husband. And at that time, I was 30 years old. So it was the first time that I said, I'm dyslexic. So that time, my right and left was, I could not distinguish. I had some words and letters. Until today, please don't ask me to break words and to tell the letters in a word, because it's very complex for me. And also then after, I realized that also the way that I do things, the way that I think, the way that I establish priorities is also very different. But then is like, okay, how can I use this as a power? And yeah, I can use that as a power, as a new perspective to the world. So when we are talking about neurodiversity, we also need to understand that most part of the times we will not see that. So it's not a thing that you will see in the face of someone, or that you can automatically say, oh, this person is neurodiverse. So the first thing I believe is the stigma, and what happens if I say it. Will people put the standards lower for me? That is something, for instance, that I don't like. Like, don't lower, don't put the standard lower just because I'm dyslexic. I don't want that. I want the standard to stay at the same level, but I want to see if I can reach it, and I will find strategies to do so. Okay, and if I need help, I will ask for help. So that's the thing, is that the stigma doesn't come only by people saying bad things to you, or doesn't come only by when people are, I don't know, not doing something with you because of your neurodiverse, but they lower everything. So they lower also the expectations that they have about you, and that doesn't feel good, doesn't feel right, because I'm okay with being the one saying, yeah, I cannot do this, but I prefer to be the one saying I cannot do this way, than someone saying to me, oh, I will take this from you because maybe you cannot do it. Do you see the difference? Can you hear the difference on this? Like, I think we need to create a space that the person feels comfortable enough to say, I'm not able to do this like this. Can I find a way, or can you help me to find a new way to do it? Then something be taken away from us with the idea that we cannot maybe do it. And this, for instance, in organizations is very important, because we sometimes don't know, because maybe we never did it. So we are the first ones to get that challenge. So, and again, is for us, or at least I speak for myself. For me, it's a challenge to find out if I can find a new way of doing with the same quality inside of my neurodiverse brain. So that for me is a challenge. It's not an obstacle. Gets me enthusiastic to see if I can overcome that challenge. Much more, I feel disrespected even if someone takes something from me to make my life easier. I find it disrespectful. I'm not saying that everyone is going to feel the same way, but I feel like, yeah, why? Why are you doing that? Why are you taking something from me that I don't know even if I can do it or not? Another thing is when sometimes people, and this happens a lot, is when people use my dyslexia to try to sell stuff to me. Don't do that. Like, just don't do that. The other day, I wrote a post in LinkedIn, and I have editor. So the process is I write something, I send to him, and then he sends back, and I publish. But, like you can imagine, I sometimes don't want to do that. I don't want to fake. Sometimes I say, okay, most part of the times my posts is like, okay, I want to say this, I will do it. And of course, I have some tools. These days, it's pretty easy. We have some tools around us in my phone and in my computer that can go to my text and correct. But the other day, I wrote a post, I put a post, and someone sent me a message and said, yeah, I see some things in your post and some mistakes, and I'm willing to correct your post for a small amount of money. I'm dyslexic. I'm not silly. So I know that I do mistakes. So don't use that to save me. And of course, I need to pay you something for that. So don't use my dyslexia as a motive for you to come and wanting to save me. I don't need that. I know where to go if I want to be safe and I want to put a post without mistakes, proper English, British English, that is the one that I like. I know how to do that, but I don't want to. And that is a big difference, right? And I don't want to. I stopped the idea that I need to pretend that I don't have it. Okay, and I think, yeah, I'm still pretty okay. You know, I finished my studies without any trouble. I'm a CEO of my company. I'm doing this podcast. I don't have any problem on speaking with you. So I think I'm doing pretty okay. So one of the things that I don't need is pity. I don't need someone saying, oh, poor. That is a problem, right? As I don't need someone to look to my son and saying, oh, poor boy, he's so handsome and now he has this problem. Oh, please don't do that. We don't need that. We don't need that. And so damage can be done when you do this kind of things, or when people say this kind of things. And I think sometimes people don't imagine, you know, I think sometimes people don't imagine the pain that they bring when they say certain stuff. The thing is that, honestly, we need space to be challenged, to find our own way. We need respect. That, yes, don't rush me. Don't, you know, just let me tell you that I need time, and just respect that. I need, basically, this is the two things. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, wow, that is the two things that I need, is space, like give me space, and give me respect. It's not even difficult. Of course, with my son, I myself want to see him. I want to see, okay, what this is for you. I want to observe him and saying, okay, what this is for you. I want to know him. But for me, I don't need that anymore. I don't know if that for him will be different in the future as well with age, but I don't need people to see me and to know me in that sense. Of course, I always say, I reply to questions. So if you ask me, oh, how is living with dyslexia all about? I will reply to that question. But I don't have anymore the feeling of, oh, I need to be seen. I need to be, people need to know me to get a better sense what I can do or not. I don't need that anymore. So what I want to bring with this topic is that if you have someone in your own family or even in your team, just do these two things. Give this person space for them to operate the way that they can and they like to operate. They feel, okay, this is my space. I can do my thing here. And the second thing is respect. Is respect the way that the other person is working. Is respect that, yes, I will be saying things in a different way, maybe. I will be writing down something in a different way. Yes. And that's it. It's pretty simple at the end. Of course, when we are like me, I have certain tools that I use. I have certain help that I have as well. If you can facilitate that, if you can facilitate those tools, if you can facilitate that help, that is, I think, also integrated in the space. Like, promote the space that the person can get out of what they want to get out. But if you want to facilitate the tools, if you want to facilitate the help, that is also possible, right? So neurodiversity is not a trend. It's not a thing that we also choose for. Is what it is. So it's not a trend. It's not going away. Studies show that it's going to increase probably because maybe we are shifting as well. Who knows? And we need to start talking about this not as a trend, not as self-diagnosis things that, oh, if I do this, oh yeah. And also don't use the words randomly. Don't go around saying that everyone is autistic if they do this, or everyone is dyslexic if they do that. Don't go around saying that everyone that does this is neurodiverse. Don't put things and don't use the words in a random way. I think we need to talk this in a serious way. So it's not a thing that I can diagnose. It's not a thing that, I don't know, someone in the street, just because they have it, they can diagnose you. So let's keep the conversation serious. Let's keep the conversation as should, okay? Because sometimes the thing is that we start talking about it, and everyone now has anxiety. No, not everyone suffers of anxiety. Just because they worry or they have panic attacks, okay? So let's keep the conversation serious. And I think this is very important because we can also give wrong information with the idea that now let's talk about it. Let's open the door and let's talk about it. Yes, let's talk about it, but let's talk about it in a serious way. Sometimes I see people, yeah, we all have a little bit of autism. No, you don't. Or, oh yeah, every one of us has a little bit of ADHD. No, you don't. Okay? So let's keep seeing things in a serious way. I think this is also important. So if I can give you again 2 things that is super easy to do: give space and respect. That is the only thing for now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for listening. The Coach is Next Door. And follow up. We have new episodes coming in. And every month you have a new episode that you can listen to. And remember, you can always share these episodes with someone that you think that could be a benefit or could feel a benefit from these episodes. And we will really like to receive also your comments and your questions. And if you want me to talk about something in particular that will fit you or your needs or your curiosities, please reach out by email, by a message, by a comment. I'm pretty sure you will find your way. Thank you so much, and we hear each other. Take care.